laptop that has like a geometric beige like design on it, just sort of frustrating. Talking to you know, remember, Katrina, you know who this is? You know what's going on. You found us a place to party. Well, I know.
That was your wish. Your
My
intellect.
possession of the agency credit card and tomorrow's capacity for paying a bunch of. Let's just, the whole might as well have a documentary. You know, we're all coming from something, part of
We
it.
can have you stand right here, because I'm guessing, I guess Sharon has, or Eva has to run the show, I guess, mayor remarks, and then you.
I think so.
Okay.
I think that's where we're going to be. You'd rather stay with us. I'll switch. Good.
Heads up over there. Angle and squeeze.
Everybody to kind of angle and tighten.
Yeah, angle is act like we love each other a little bit here. Gender diversity as well. Tracy.
I heard it say it's diversity. She wants it. Proud to be on the list. I need to be careful. If any of us start to get funny, I'm like, if you hear me counting my in-breath and out-breath, you know what I'm doing. I just linger in it.
How did we decide this? I would have liked to be a part of that today.
A team. And they get paid, right?
Absolutely. Hello, young lady.
I thought they were just hanging out. And now I realize.
How are you? Good. Likewise.
Not going back. No.
How you doing? How you doing, sir?
Hey, Mayor. Thanks.
Well, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm glad that you all are joining me today, and today I am surrounded by a number of people I consider my friends, community partners who have, over the course of many years, provided so much support and help to our community. Today we're going to provide some updates to on my administration's effort to expand access to out-of-school time programs for Richmond's children and youth. I want to make sure I recognize the partners who have joined us today. We are joined by many community organizations, and I want to make sure you know who they are. We are joined by, next up, YWCA, YMCA, our friends at VCU, those at the Challenge Discovery Project, Communities in School, the Boys and Girls Club of Metro Richmond, and also our friends at Child Savers. Also, those with the administration have joined us today as well. I see Richmond Police Chief Rick Edwards with us, the Deputy Chief Administrative Officer Tracy DeShazer is with us, the Head of Children and Families, the Office of Children and Families, Eva Colin's with us, the Director of Parks and Recreation, Chris Frelke's with us. Any more directors? Oh, yeah, Office of Community Wealth Building is with us. Justice Services is with us today as well. I want to thank everyone. Lerone Joseph with MYA, YES with us too. I want to say thank you all for being with us today. Give them a round of applause, everyone. And Jason Cameras is with us as well. I don't know why Jason's not up here with us, but you can have a seat. It's okay. One last time, okay? Thank you. Well, as you all may recall, around this time, probably back in 2016, I was knocking on doors and participating in a number of candidate forums. And one of my promises to you, to my friends here in Richmond, was to expand access to out-of-school time programs. At the time, I thought I was just promising to address after-school programming in the city of Richmond. But I soon learned that out-of-school time, what people call OST, covers the whole gamut of youth programming that occurs during the 80% of the time the child spends outside of the classroom. This was a priority for me, not just because of my own experience, not only because of what I saw on the campaign trail, number of aunties, grandmas, fathers, mothers who grabbed on me and said, we need more for our kids to do, but because it's the right thing to do. And folks, research makes that very clear. Tori Edmonds, who is here with us today, hello Tori, made sure I was aware of the good work of VCU's Healthy Communities for Youth, whose research is behind the Centers for Disease Control's resources for youth violence prevention. By engaging deeply with Richmond youth and families residing in high crime areas, the HCY team identified that quality out-of-school time programs were vital to positive youth development, which is critical to preventing youth violence. Leaders from Community in Schools, Next Up RVA, and the YMCA helped me understand how important quality out-of-school time is to improving the ABCs for our school-age youth. And by ABCs, I mean attendance, behavior, and completion. And our own Office of Community Wealth Building, with input from Richmond's own anti-poverty champion, Dr. Thad Williamson, a former employee of the city of Richmond and now back at the University of Richmond, made a compelling case that expanded access to affordable, quality out-of-school time would pay dividends, not just for the kids participating in it, but also for their caregivers as well. And these caregivers could hold down full-time jobs without worrying about their kids' safety. And you know what? They were right. Since I became mayor, the city of Richmond has seen a reduction in juvenile victims of shootings and youth-involved violent incidents. 35 fewer kids, 35, were shot in 23 than in 2017. That's a 64% decrease. 62 fewer kids were involved in violent incidents in 2023 than in 2017. That's a 40% decrease. And as school divisions across the country have struggled to bring kids back to school after COVID, RPS has outpaced peer divisions in its reduction of chronic absenteeism. Chronic absenteeism, kids missing 18 or more days of school, is down by 20% since RPS returned to in-person learning in fall of 2021. Folks, I am so deeply proud of these outcomes. 35 fewer children were shot last year than in the first year in which I was the mayor. That's 35 fewer families experiencing unfathomable trauma, unforgettable trauma. Now, folks, this took hard work. And I got to say, it took money as well. The city of Richmond invested its time and its treasure into our children. And as a candidate and as your mayor, I said that I will put our children first. And we've done that year in and year out. And we talk a lot about our investments in RPS. And I'm extremely proud of those investments. Under my leadership, the city of Richmond has increased its investments in RPS by 58% since 2017. I always love when our superintendent is leading the applause. RPS teachers now have the highest starting and average salary in the metro region. These investments help drive outcomes in youth violence and school attendance. But we didn't stop there at just RPS. We focus on our own agencies and our nonprofit partners. As a result, we have expanded affordable, full-service, quality school-based after-school programs to every RPS elementary school and middle school as well. Now, RPS provides at no cost transportation, security, custodial services, and food. And through this effort, we've added over 500 slots across RPS. Elementary slots have increased by 33%. Middle school slots have increased by 24%. And we've also brought down the cost. This year across RPS elementary schools, families are paying no more than $140 a year for after-school childcare. And when you consider RPS as a 180-day calendar, that equals to about 77 cents a day. Middle school programs continue to be fee-free. And our friends at the Boys and Girls Club of Metro Richmond have eliminated membership fees for RPS students. Now, since fiscal year 2017, we've nearly tripled our non-departmental allocations for youth program providers. In this year's general fund budget, the city is investing $3.7 million into nonprofit organizations that support access to out-of-school time programs. I've invested heavily in our own departments as well. I'll put a spotlight on my friends over at the Department of Parks and Recreation, whose youth programming budget has increased by 84% since fiscal year 2017. In this year's general fund budget, $13.8 million is supporting youth programs over at the Department of Parks and Recreation. We've expanded library hours, offering programs after school and on the weekends. I even took my daughter down to one of the programs on the weekends. And we have grown the Mayor's Youth Academy Summer Youth Employment Program to serve more than 500 youth during the summertime. Looking at you, Dr. Joseph. We launched the We Matter program, an innovative approach to supporting middle schoolers who have experienced gun violence. And we did this in partnership with Challenge Discovery Projects, Child Savers, and also communities in schools. We established a positive youth development fund at Next Up RVA, which awards city funds to community organizations serving youth aged 11 through 19 after school, on weekends, and over the summer while providing technical assistance and professional development to their awardees. I'm about to turn it over to Tremanisha Lamy, and she's going to speak here quick about the Positive Youth Development Fund's investment over the last year. But before I move on and hand you over the mic to you, Tremanisha, I just want you all to give these folks another round of applause, because it's one thing to talk about the funding, but the work is so important. And to see that we are making real strides in communities that have at times been long neglected, ignored, it makes me a little emotional, because you have to have obviously the ability to look back the last 8 years and see what we have done and see the lives that we've impacted. And so I have some more remarks after this, but I'm going to hand over the mic. Tremanisha.
Thank you, Mayor Stoney. The Positive Youth Development Fund is a key initiative in the City of Richmond's efforts to support youth development and reduce violence in our community. Through the fund, Next Up, on behalf of the City of Richmond, distributes $900,000 annually to community-based organizations that provide enriching and safe programs for youth ages 11 through 19. Today, we are pleased to announce a total of 20 organizations have been selected collectively, receiving $328,823 to offer after-school programs that will engage, inspire, and support Richmond youth during this academic school year. These programs focus on a wide range of activities, including STEM education, career exploration, mentorship, and arts, ensuring our youth have access to a variety of pathways to learning and personal growth. We also got feedback from some of the young people engaged in the out-of-school time programs, and I wanted to share that with you all today. 95% reported they tried new opportunities within the out-of-school time opportunities they were engaged in. 93% reported an increase in their self-confidence. They indicated that they felt better about themselves after engaging in OST opportunities. And 95% said they found a trusted adult in their program to guide and support them. Once selected and within the programs, youth program providers receive ongoing support, as the mayor stated, including access to data management system to help track the outcomes within their program. Additionally, youth programs receive free professional development opportunities, including training on data and program evaluation, grant writing, and social-emotional skills training. We are also excited to announce that today the request for proposals for our new out-of-school time opportunities for the PYD Fund are now open, and the PYD Supplemental Fund opportunities are now open as well. The PYD request for proposals invites high-quality out-of-school time programs and organizations that focus on youth development or family services for youth ages 11 to 19 to apply. This grant supports OST organizations that improve educational, social, emotional, or physical health outcomes for our young people at no direct cost to youth and their families. The supplemental funding grant is designed for organizations looking to expand or extend their existing programs in high crime areas, offering safe and positive opportunities for youth. These expansion fundings for the supplemental grant will be focused on youth residing in public housing or youth that are recent or refugee youth within our community. They'll also include youth that are justice involved. This will increase our OST opportunities during the summer academic year as well as during the alternative spring break hours. Please visit our website at www.nextuprva.org for more information on these RFP processes for program providers and youth and families. We also encourage you to engage in the website to learn more about the program opportunities on our online program locator. Together with the City of Richmond and our dedicated partners, we are making significant strides in supporting and empowering young people throughout our community. The PYD Fund is not only an investment in our young people, but also in the future of the City of Richmond. We are committed to expanding opportunities and ensuring that every young person has a safe, supportive space where they can thrive. And on behalf of Next Up, I would like to thank the mayor again and for all of his support and everyone within the city of Richmond that is actively engaged within the youth development space. We are excited for what's ahead of us, and we look forward to successful out-of-school time opportunities for Richmond youth and our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Tremanisha, for those remarks, and also thank you for Next Up's partnership as well. Because of the work we're doing, the Virginia Department of Criminal Justice Services awarded Richmond a Safer Communities grant of over $3.5 million in fiscal year 2025. This grant, well, yeah. When big money like that comes from the state, we got to give that a round of applause, right? Now, this grant will enhance our approach to implement community-based strategies that help us address the root causes and conditions of crime. With state support, Richmond will do the following. We will partner with YWCA Richmond to plan for Richmond's first ever Family Justice Center that will provide a safe, confidential, and welcoming place to aid survivors of domestic violence, child abuse, and sexual assault. We will hire a Latino youth outreach coordinator to work within the new Department of Neighborhood and Community Services in partnership with the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Engagement. We will expand the RVA Reads program at Richmond Public Libraries. We will fund a Parks and Recreations mentorship program in Gilpin Court. We will fund quality improvement data and management and expansion of programming for youth age 11 through 19 at Next Up RVA. We will support ongoing engagement of We Matter RVA, youth by Parks and Recreation as youth transition to high school. We will enhance the Mayor's Youth Academy, which provides work-based learning programs to those age 14 to 24. We will support the third annual Teen Summit RVA, which our friends throughout the counties will participate in. And we will enhance family engagement and youth credible messenger initiatives by the Department of Justice Services right there. Folks, that's $3.5 million well spent. Let me end by saying this. We've never said that this investment, whether the investment in RPS, the investment in Parks and Recreation, the investment in Office Community Wealth Building, the investments in out-of-school time was the panacea. No one has ever said that. But what we have said is that it's the right thing to do for every child. We deeply believe that the children with the most resources shouldn't have all the opportunities. We know that if we can remove the barriers for our kids who, by no fault of their own, were born in situations like the one I was born in, single parents, teenage parents, if we remove the barriers and those kids had the same opportunities to compete, that they're cared for, that they're loved on, if they have those same opportunities, they can be successful. And I think what the facts have shown is when we do that, they can be successful. This is what success looks like. But this isn't the end of the road. We will need more support. We will expect more from our partners. And then we ask the community to expect more from us as well. This is the promise that we've made to our children in this city. I'm glad to have these partners by my side in keeping that promise. And it's my hope whomever holds this office beginning January 1 continues to keep this promise to the families, to the children of the great city of Richmond. Thank you all so much. Now, Asif, I'll take a few questions. Hi.
I wanted to ask about youth programming specifically for those who are court involved. As you may know, the city has been receiving some money from DJJ from the state for DJJ's model for court involved services, and hasn't been using that money. And if you take a look at the services that are available under that model for the city and compare it to Chesterfield and Henrico, the city is offering fewer services, and Ms. Barber has addressed some of this. But I'm wondering if you've identified that as an area, specifically those youth who are court involved, as an area that needs more resources and attention.
Do you want to? I don't want to get any wrong answers here. I'm not one of these politicians who act like I know the answer to everything. So we'll bring the experts in.
Yes, thank you for the question. And yes, we have prepared a comprehensive plan in collaboration with our court services unit. The fiscal year has begun, and we are prepared to expend those funds. And so we're excited about it. We're using evidence-based practices. We're doing a lot of taking youth out on exploring new and historical events. We're also committed to attendance, making sure that kids go to school. At the same time, understanding citizenship, because that's what's important to keep our kids out of the system, that they understand that they can contribute to our society without doing things that are against the law. So we're excited about that.
So the new fiscal year plan includes an expansion of...
Yes.
Does that also include prevention programs?
Majority of it is prevention. And so with this $3.5 million, we're also looking at prevention for those that have generational incarceration, where fathers and mothers have been incarcerated, grandparents have been incarcerated, and the kids are in the youth. We're trying to break that cycle. And so part of our funding with this 3.5 is addressing family dynamics to alleviate some of the strain that these families are working through so they can make better decisions.
And one last thing on the 3.5 coming from criminal justice services. I believe in fiscal year 24, justice services received that same grant, but did not use those funds. Do you know what the reason was?
Well, that was more of a situation with the government and how they administer those funds. And so I think moving forward, the state has acknowledged that their practice has changed in terms of how they're going to distribute those funds. So the city of Richmond wasn't the only locality. And so since then, we've put in place our proposal to ensure that those funds will be expended by June 30th, 2025.
As in the state didn't set you guys up to use the funds in time, is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying that they recognize that they would use a different method for getting those funds out to the localities.
Can I add one thing to that? And that is, I'm glad you asked that question about justice-involved youth, because I think what we listed with how we're going to use the $3.5 million grant, but also just in general what I've spoken about today about our investments in out-of-school time, shows not only you in the media but the public that we are not giving up on any child in this community. Any child, whether they're engaged with the justice, those who are engaged with the legal world, the justice world, or those who unfortunately are just living in tough circumstances. Our investments are about not giving up on our children. And so we hear the term at risk a lot, but the term that I like to fall back on is that these kids have so much hope ahead of them. But we have to rebuild that hope in many cases. And you've heard not just 3.5 million reasons why we should do it, but also the multiple millions that we've spent not only in this fiscal year, but the past 8 years in investing in our children. I will say that there are more children with opportunities today than there were a decade ago. And that's Richmond being on the right trajectory right there.
Anybody else on this topic?
Yeah, I have a question about you have some pretty impressive reductions in youth violence
Yep.
between 2017 and 2023. What are the numbers looking like for 2024 so far? Are they on track for those reductions, or are you seeing any variation?
So in 2024, and Chief Everest can also speak to this as well, but to date, I believe we have 19 children who've been involved in shootings. That's to date, and this is October, 8th, 9th? Will you agree? So that's, I think, we're hopeful that we can get through the next 3 months, the next quarter of the year, and keep that number exactly at 19, which would also show that, remember, 35, 50, I'm losing my numbers, 53 in year 2017, 55 in year 2017. We can keep it at 19 in 2024. That would be a huge deal.
Is there any follow-up? Okay. Les, any other questions on this topic? Sierra, I know you had a question on taxes from earlier this week. Anybody? You good? All right.
We're good? All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. That's right. I'll be there.
I'll have my kids with me.
You gonna have your kids?
Yeah, 3 of them.
Let me see if I'll.
They'll be running around.
Let's see if I can get my kid out. Or not. Let's do it.
Thank you so much.
We're gonna move this. What we gonna do? Yeah. Big deal, huh? Thank you.
Thank you.